Are you Mandalorian?
I'm a simple man making his way through the galaxy, like my father before me.
3 Men and a Baby Yoda podcast. Matthew, Dylan, Callan.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 49 of the 3 Men and a Baby Yoda podcast. We've got a different cast tonight. Joining me tonight is my good buddy and reliable buddy, Callan Gardner. How are you, mate?
I'm good, Matty. How you doing?
I'm well, mate. I'm well. Thank you for staying true to the course.
Showing up.
Dylan is a no-show. He's got a date night with his missus, and he didn't have the guts to pull out. But we have a much-loved replacement, the daimyo of Pigstrict 9, the lover of all things Mandalorian, the president of the Emily Swallow fan club Oceania district, our good buddy, and my favorite internet pen pal, Mr. Matthew Frost. How are you, buddy?
I'm very good. That is quite an intro. I'm sort of.
It's getting good at those, eh?
Yeah, I'm full of pride, and I'm also vaguely insulted, and I'm all sorts of things. I'm feeling a lot of feelings.
My wife asked me, "What are you doing 1 hour before the podcast?" It was pretty much come out with that. That's about it. That's the bulk of my work. The rest is just winging it.
There's probably more drafts went into that than there is to the average Star Wars episode. So.
Well, I was thinking this podcast could use a Monster of the Week story, but I
am the Monster of the Week.
Cal, mate, what's happening in your world, buddy? How you sitting at the halfway point of this Mandalorian season?
Pretty good. It's been I decided to throw a bit of a country music festival into the in between our last ep and this ep, and I'm still fucking recovering from that. That was 3 days of trying to run it back like a young kid, and I'm only 34, but it was tough. So I'm recovering from that still. That was a week ago, and now I'm cracking into a bit of Star Wars. I think it's midway through. I'm pretty happy with it, with Mandalorian, but nothing. It doesn't have the vibes of a Luke excitement coming back just yet, but you know, I'm still think THRAWN's here. It'll come, so I'm enjoying it.
Excellent, Matty. How about you? How are you? Does Bob Iger need to go into the rooms at halftime and give a rallying speech? Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh, I think Bob and Kathy are drunk at the bar. They've given up. They've just
Given up.
cashed out of their multi, mate.
Yeah.
They had Andor and Kenobi on there, and they've just gone, oh, no. Where do you want me to start?
Well, we'll go through episodes 1 to 4 because, you know, we have the luxury. This podcast has only done. We reviewed episode 1. How was episode 1 for you? I mean, I remember our text at about 11 p.m. on Wednesday night. All I got from Matt Frost. My wife's like, "Who's texting you so late?" Oh, that's Frosty. It just said that was pretty lame.
Oh, it's been pretty kind.
The Apostate.
The Apostate, that's right.
Space Crocodiles.
Yes, Space Crocodiles. What else happened? Not much.
Space Whales.
Oh yeah, they look quite pretty.
The green shaggy monster.
Oh,
Moss Nass. What was it?
Moss Nass.
Shit, it's coming back to me now. That was as bad as Star Wars has got, apart from probably Rise of Skywalker, I think.
As a whole episode?
Yeah.
It was a very lukewarm premiere. After 2 years of, waiting, it was a bit, on the quiet side. It was no huge reveal. Like, apparently that Moss Nass and his little space pirates are sort of the alleged antagonists of the Skeleton Crew TV show that's coming up. So they're sort of drop.
You told me that.
Frosty's pissed.
I was looking forward to that. Is that the one with Jude Law in it?
That's the one with Jude Law, where he may or may not be a dinosaur. We're not sure.
Oh, a Judasaur. Yeah. I could handle that.
So what did you like? Did you even like the space fighting? And none of that shit?
It was okay, but we've seen it all before, and it's sort of a little bit, like how good are pilots in Star Wars now? Like, because they just do the most ridiculous stuff. Like, we started off with the first Star Wars with it seeming like flying a space fighter was a pretty difficult thing to do. Like, it was pretty hard. And now it's just, it's the Harlem Globetrotters, isn't it? It's just...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Rogue One had bombers that just went so fucking slow that it's like, we might get there, but now they're just fucking whipping out everywhere.
Yeah, it just doesn't quite seem consistent, and it sort of just takes a bit of the tension out of it.
What about the Babu Fricks, the Anzellans?
Oh, they're pretty cool. Are they little puppets?
They're little puppets. I think that was stop motion. That was a bit of fun.
I think they're pretty cool. Yeah. No issues there.
And what about the droids and Grief Karga's cape? Did you notice that?
I think that Carl Weathers gets the inaugural Rupert Friend Award for what the fucking show are you even in, mate? Like, he's so good. He's just like, he's camped it up that far that it doesn't matter. You're just like, this is fun. No complaints there. They're
showing what grief Carl Weathers wore in season 1, and it was pretty normal. And then he sort of camped it up season 2, and season 3. He's got the red cape and the droids pulling the cape at the back. I think in season 4 it's going to be like something those crazy people wear to the Met Gala. It's going to be that full on mental. By the end,
be in a meat dress.
Yeah. What did you think when you saw the droid coming back? The old
IG-11.
IG-11. Were you like, fuck? What the hell?
Yep.
Yeah.
No one's ever gone. Not even the droids that explode.
Like, surely they're not bringing him back. What about the guys trying to have a drink in the school? Bit full on.
the very 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 pushy pirates that need to drink in the school in
front of children.
They did get probably the best line in the whole opening episode, though, when he says it's a school now, and he goes, "Oh, well, that would probably explain it." I'm like, okay, that's all right.
No. Well, it was an interesting episode. It was a good start. Like,
it wasn't.
It was okay. Like, it was
a slow start. It was definitely a slow start.
It was a slow burn. So was Andor. Andor's a slow burn, and then
probably not in the same way. Look, if you hold that up against both the premiere to the season 1 and the premiere to season 2, it was a long way. Even though, look, I didn't like everything about those either, but it was miles back from those. So, and I think coming off of, like, even though we joke about like how I don't like the show, but I actually quite liked a fair bit of season 2. Like, if there were 8 episodes in there, I probably liked 5.5 of them quite a bit. So coming off that into that was quite the come down.
Well, it's funny. It's like this season has more of a season 1 vibe than the season 2 vibe. We're back to sort of armor, flashbacks, sunsets, monsters.
There is. Yeah.
And I think there might be a song in the works, Maddie, or
no.
You're going to rejig the other song?
No, I've retired.
You've retired?
Yep.
Gutted.
Yeah.
How bad does the show need to get for a new song?
That's a really interesting question.
Filoni's just licking his lips like, I've got a new monster and a sunset.
Just knocking back another Billy. Just like, I can go worse. I can make it worse.
Well, we episode 2 a bit longer. I thought it was a lot better. Back on Tatooine, you sort of. I'm sure. How do you feel about Pelimoto's character?
Can just just so I get everything straight here, that's the Mines of Mandalore. Yep.
The Mines of Mandalore, yes.
Right. Pelly, this is the one where he's still looking for bits to make IG-11. That's the next part of the video game.
So, yes.
Yep.
Filoni and Favreau have gone, okay, I've got to have this droid. I need to go to Mandalore. And those little Babu freaks are like, we can fix it, but we need parts. He's like, I will go find the part. And now he's headed to Tatooine to find the droid part. And then during that meeting with Pelly, he's completely ditched it and bought R5 instead from 1977.
So it's not like a video game. It's lots worse.
Yeah. It's like a garage sale in a video game.
Yeah. Yeah. I hated that scene with Pelly. It just seems like, I don't know, and I feel sorry for her. Like, it's not I don't blame the actors in a lot of this stuff, but what she's asked to do, talk to a heap of puppets and non-moving droids and
flirt with Jawas,
and then a stuntman in a helmet, she's got to talk to him, and he's just like probably just saying the lines like, you know, it must be hard, like to deliver a decent performance.
What's funny you mentioned that. Like I listened to Amy Sedaris on another podcast, and she's just a crazy cat lady that lives in a 1-bedroom apartment in New York City.
Oh, good on her.
She's by the sounds of it doesn't sound like she gets out much either. Right. She just does her job and then goes back to her apartment and plays Scrabble and lives a pretty simple life.
Right.
No fella on the go.
Oh,
I thought it was funny the Jawas have just been made to be. They're just like they're always been made to be these big thieves that travel. You know, they're ripping places, but here they're just running a little bit of a what do you call it? A speeder bloody scam out the back of her fucking starport, and they're just running it. Like there's only a few of them. I just thought that was pretty funny, but it was like so fucking weird how she made up the language.
Yeah, I thought that sort of general gist of what she was doing with the Jawas was fine. Like, yeah, I think that's pretty funny too. Yeah,
yeah. The IG-11 shit just was like, why?
Well, it's actually it plays into it because if he'd taken IG-11, because apparently he needed him for spelunking.
God, I can't believe that word made it into Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I thought it should have just sat in Batman, and that would have been fine.
Yep.
All I thought about was Morgan Freeman saying spelunking. Yeah. But having R5 in the ship meant that if once Din was in trouble, the ship could fly itself to safety and get Din to be rescued. So, you know, some good foreshadowing there, but yeah, not enough.
It makes you wonder how they assemble these fucking stories, doesn't it? Like, it's just.
Do you think IG-11's going to come back?
What
the fuck's the point of talking about it?
What does he need him for? He needed him specifically to go to Mandalore to see if he could breathe on there.
There's going to be a big fight. They're not just going to get to all Mandalore and be happy days. There's going to be a big battle, so he's probably going to come and save the day.
He's definitely coming back. They don't. Yeah. Nothing in these shows isn't set up like it's. Yeah.
It's waste of probably 3/4 of 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy Hebert from Scruffy thinks that IG-11's going to come back and be the marshal of Navarro.
Yeah, of course. Why not? That's fine.
Did you enjoy how they took care of the Cara Dune situation, Matty?
You know what? Everyone laughs about it, but hey, they mentioned it.
They went there.
Over it in it. They went over it like it's believable. Like,
yeah.
If you can swallow all the other stuff that happens in
I was going to say it's probably more believable than some of the other stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, fine. Yeah.
Move along.
I don't think they will, but I don't care if they recast that character. I couldn't care less. Like, if they want to have the character, I didn't have any problem with her playing it. Obviously I don't really like what she stands for, but I didn't mind the character.
I agree with that. Yeah. So you get to when he fucks off back to go to Mandalore, and he arrives in Mandalore. The cracking and getting into the caves.
Yeah,
I fucking was there's one scene you fly in and he flies in and you see it all.
Yeah.
Fuck, that was a good set, good look. That looked sick. I loved that.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I thought Mandalore looked amazing from the flying in shots. When they landed, it felt a bit more like a Star Trek kind of 60s set. But
you could tell the volume was in full force. The rocks were out, and then the overhead shot. It just it looked like you're on the plane, looking out of the window, look at the city. But they did a good job of the under. But that's the thing. Mandalore's an underground city because God knows why. I think it's just how the Mandalorians like to do things.
Is it? I've not seen too much of the show, or is it kind of like a big crusted, like a molten crusted formed over it with the bombing? I didn't. They
sort of done a dome and then went under because of the nature of the environment.
Flashbacks to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that set looked great.
I love seeing the jetpacks in just general use. Like this, throw her on, and they just however they do it. I thought that was cool. And then I'll tell you what, I fucking jumped out of my fucking seat when that robo spider jumped out.
That was good.
I scared the fuck out of me. I'm like, sure. I was even zoomed in a bit. I'm looking in with my head. I'm like, I wonder what's there. And then it jumped out. Fuck, I nearly squealed. Got me.
That's one of the coolest creatures they've come up with, probably on a par with those white spiders, I think.
Those Ralph McQuarrie spiders. Yeah. You like it when Star Wars is weird, don't you, Matty?
I do, yeah. And I thought that was really quite creepy and fun, that creature. The way it caught him and was going to drain him of his blood. I think it was all pretty good.
It seems that Mando's always seems to be, I don't know what's the word, getting into trouble, needing to be rescued.
Fuck all good senses, does he?
He keeps slipping on banana peels and needing help.
He did the old. He throws down the old the checks for temperature every now and again. But I'm like, mate, I could feel the fucking eerie scene in there. You got to know something's around.
How did you find those sort of those Alamites, those weird creatures that were attacking them? Those white sort of wampa-looking things.
They kind of belonged on the Star Trek set a bit.
Yes, I thought they were very Star Trekky.
Who the fuck made those up? Someone's like, let's pick the weirdest fucking thing we have that doesn't fit this area. They didn't even need them. I don't think they actually needed them there.
No.
They didn't need to fight anything.
Really good point. Do you know what? If he just killed one weird creature on his way in, would have been
fucking
better.
Dog, like just a little fucking rat or something. Just
instead of having like a choreographed fight thing.
Those little dog things with eyes and stuff, I didn't mind them. But I was like, what the fuck are these people doing?
Because then Bo-Katan goes through the exact same shit when she comes in. And that's what makes it feel like a video game. It's like, now she's got to go through the level bit with the fucking things that jump out. Like,
she did kick some fucking ass with that saber, though. That was sick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that when she gets to him and the
that was a cool fight scene.
That was cool, yeah. There's something that happens in this section of this show that is a bit of what I think is one of the major problems with the show is that when Din's hanging around, now that they've gone back to Din wanting to be this full, now let me get this right, child of the watch. Yeah, is that what they're called?
Yep. Back to his cult.
Yeah, back to his cult with him having his helmet on and stuff like that. There's long periods of time where it's just him and the puppet floating along and he's talking to the puppet. And there's just no way to get really engaged with it because it's just line readings. It's just a stuntman or a place actor walking along. And the way they storyboard these shows, like there's no blocking or, you know what I mean? It very much just seems like something static on a set with a helmet talking to a puppet.
The walking Wikipedia.
Yeah, it just sucks all the pacing and the fun out of the show. And this episode had some cool bits, but there's just these periods in between of people talking to puppets, and when it's a helmet talking to a puppet, it's just dull.
Well, it's very heavy on the helmets because
I've never once felt that because I always until you said it, didn't realize. I keep forgetting about the three. That there's three of them that are like it's not just always Pedro. So I never once thought, and I go, they're not talking. It's weird. It's interesting. You see it like the storyboard, and I'm like, oh, maybe I was just engrossed. I never saw that.
Yeah, and it's a very static way because you can imagine that they would just rush through those shots.
Yeah.
And it just looks like you stand there, look towards that. Okay, move a bit. Like you're saying this, the puppet moves a bit, move on. It's just really static direction, and the editing doesn't help. Like it's just, and they're the bits where I'm just, oh God, I just want a fucking human face talking to a two-way conversation for fuck's sake.
You're not going to get any human faces for a while. I think there's sort of the cult's back. Everyone's keeping their helmets on. I feel like the show is also because they have so much ground to cover for like the normies. They have to explain so much basic shit. Like in this episode, Bo was just like, oh, just so you know, I was royal family. My family ruled here. She was explaining everything very in simple terms, and then
but it's a one-way conversation to a puppet. Like, how dull is that? How can you think of possibly a duller way to tell a part of a story than that? It's worse than narration.
Yeah, but I feel like I didn't feel the puppet vibes as much. I don't know.
I don't think I don't feel Grogu's a puppet. I feel he's real.
Oh, buddy, especially when he jumps out of the starfighter, because that looks super real.
Floats. I do like a couple of the Mando sort of checking Boca with a few. This is the way, and she's just like fucking doesn't want a bar of it, but he just throws it out there, and then you end up keep moving, and then she's just forced into this fucking cult. I actually really enjoyed that. She's like, "Fuck, I'm one of these guys now." It's like she just realised.
Yeah, I tell you what, like Bo-Katan, a character I knew nothing about before the Mandalorian, and look, she is doing a lot of the heavy lifting story-wise, and interest-wise in this season. And look, Katie Sackhoff is not she's never going to win an Academy Award or anything, but she's carrying a big heavy load too, and doing a pretty good job as well. At least at trying to keep you interested, because I don't know, my God, Din is so boring in this season so far. He's just dull as dishwater, and she's basically been the only interesting thing. Well,
the last 3 episodes, or at least the last 2, have sort of finished with her. She's doing you can actually see her thinking through the helmet, though. I'll give her that. Like the body movement and the language is really good. That you can see the conflict and she's up to something. She's
definitely been the main driver of the last 3. 100% right. Din's taken a massive back step. It's not fuck all now that I think about it.
The show is called The Mandalorian. It doesn't mean it's not Din Djarin. So they could easily pivot. This could be. She's carrying the load, but I mean, they go into the waters. Din flies to the bottom. I mean, what did you think of the Mythosaur, Matty? That was.
I thought that was a pretty good scene. I think it was pretty well shot. That, yeah. I bagged some of the direction, and look, I think I've got a good point in how some of the direction has been with that setup of how static it all looks. But that bit was quite exciting and quite interesting. I thought that was, because I didn't know what was going to happen down there. But when I rewatched it with Karina, though, because I normally skip the intro.
Yeah, do that, because the intros give away so much.
I don't for Karina because
she needs them.
Yeah. So, but then they mentioned the Mythosaur, and I'm like, I probably would have seen it coming then. But that's here nor there. But this was this second episode was when I was like, there's a lot of problems with this show, but I just reckoned if the dialogue was 20% better, I could probably just go with it. But because everything,
you reckon they'll pull the helmets off? That'll fucking help $1 million if they took the helmets off.
Won't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I would. Look, how I bagged the armor, and I do reckon it's a pretty crappy character. But that Emily Swallow. Now that you've told me so many times, Mole, that I now know her name. It's not her fault. It's like she's got a tough gig. She's
the songs of eons past.
Oh, having to sail that. Well, luckily, like you can't see her face because how you'd not be trying to fucking not to smile with half the shit she has to say. So,
do you think she's in the mic just like looking at the sky with a cigarette, just rolling her eyes, going,
just
songs of eons past,
just
talk of the mighty mythosaur rising.
Before she goes into her study to record the line, she's just sitting there talking to her partner, going, "You're not going to believe what I've got to fucking say here."
Then you are a Mandalorian no more.
The Forge is the heart of all Mandalorian culture.
No, that's spoiler. Episode 3.
Sorry.
We're in episode 3. Din doesn't actually. Well, a lot of the conjecture was that Din was taken by the mythosaur, but in fact, he's just an idiot that fell into water with a heavy suit on to the bottom and sank to the bottom.
Yeah, I thought that was what happened. I was a bit confused when people were saying that he'd been snagged by the mythosaur. It looked like he just walked off a continental shelf.
I think I blinked and I'm like, did he just get eaten? I was like, got another fucking monster. Surely.
How did he fall so far and so deep?
Fucking heavy Beskar, dude. Yeah,
that's why you don't let your kids down the deep end of the pool without their water wings, mate. Like, it's.
And so, what did you think about when Bo was sort of like keeping the mythosaur secret to herself?
See, that honestly, this is the only thing where this show is really keeping me going, because I've heard so many people say their theories on Bo-Katan. Oh, she's biding her time to do this. Oh, she's starting to believe she's doing this. And you know what? It all seems plausible. Like, I fuck knows what I think. I've got no idea. But, it's interesting. She's playing it. She's playing it well enough. And it's, if any of their writing is to be commended, that, which not a lot of it should be, but that bit is that you don't know what she's going to do. Well, maybe some people do that have followed all the other material, but to me, it's hard to tell what she wants. Like, and it's pretty, I think that she doesn't know, that she's confused. She's had her home bombed. She's lost all her people. She had the chance to take the Darksaber, but she didn't. She gave it back.
When did she give it back?
Well, she fought with it and then gave it back to Din.
No, she lost it to Moff Gideon.
No, it went down at underneath. Are you talking about?
She fought with it on the, but it wasn't hers to fight with. That was sort of like a save yourself moment. She didn't win it in combat.
Well, he lost it in combat.
Yeah, but that's
he picked it up.
But
surely that's a loose ball get.
that's +1 Supercoach point. Yeah. There was conjecture that Din lost it to the insect and then she got it back off the insect. So technically, she is now the rule of the Darksaber. But I don't know. Like, they're sort of just.
But vibe-wise, if you don't buy into all that nonsense, because it is nonsense, Mandalorian culture is fucking boring as batshit. If you don't go into all that, it's interesting because you don't know. Like, you could say, like, they actually showed in a scene her giving it back, which, and then when he met her, she was like, if you wave that sword about, they'll follow you anywhere. And she looks jaded. She looks like she doesn't believe this shit anymore. She looks like she is open to other stuff. Well, at least you can, if you're desperate for a storyline and desperate for somebody without their helmet on, I was willing to believe anything she fucking said. So, it was interesting.
I think she's going to be a real big part of this, wherever this goes with. I think it's going to be in conjunction with with Din, not against him. She'll definitely get that saber back. I think she's definitely going to be probably the big, winner overall. And they're probably going to fuck up Gideon or THRAWN or someone.
And hopefully, like, they give her enough character moments without her helmet, and that, that we can see that she's a changed person for whatever happens to her, for good or bad, like.
I think she's cooking up something. I think she's going to.
You reckon?
Oh, yeah. She's power hungry. She wants the Darksaber the Mythosaur might be, Mythosaur might trump Darksaber, and then, we'll see. But I've got to say the TIE Interceptors attack on her homeland and the TIE bombers, that was a pretty awesome scene. And I mean, I know it's been done before, but it was pretty awesome to see.
But I really liked that scene, and it looked fantastic.
It sounded good as well. If you turn it up on full volume.
Yeah, it sounded good. Love a good TIE Interceptor, love a TIE bomber. But why did Din and her both have to pull special moves in their ships to finish them off? This is why I was going back before, Cal, about pilots. Just like, how good are pilots in this thing? Like, it's just got to the point where, what the hell does Bo-Katan do? She changes the shape of her ship and it sort of flips itself around like a bird, and like
that little drift thing she did.
Like, at least when you like, it just becomes hard, and it's been this whole since Disney bought it, and bringing it into a new generation. But even the prequels weren't like this. There was a little bit more tension in the space battles. But you remember in Force Awakens when Poe Dameron comes on the scene and just shoots about 15 TIE fighters. And
it was 12.
It was 12, wasn't it? Yeah, and Finn's going, now that's a pilot down the thing. I'm just like, what? Like,
numbers don't matter. Never tell me the odds.
But yeah, and then, the next film, like you said, Kay, you've got these slow bombers that are just
they're putting along with the fucking
like with a single propeller at the back, just like
yeah. It's now that you mention it, they are. I don't mind if it makes sense that Din can fucking throw some moves, but yeah,
he's been driving a space panel van for the last.
No, it's a fucking fast panel van, but I straight away saw the Interceptors, and I was like, when they said they said something like, I can't be a warlord, it's got to be someone bigger or something, and I was like, fucking THRAWN, here he comes. So
how do you feel about the big blue guy, Matty?
So I read the original THRAWN trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually liked those quite a bit, but I was 20 years old, so that's fair enough to probably like those. But I haven't seen any of the new canon stuff with him. But.
That's okay. He's just as awesome back then as he is now. So.
Oh, and there was another THRAWN. There was another 2 books of him, part of the old stuff.
Heir to the Empire or whatever it was.
Yeah. So there were those 3, and there was, I can't remember what they were called now, but it's the one where Luke gets married finally.
To Mara Jade.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. Good old EU. Good old EU.
Yeah, but I read them too, and I thought they were pretty good too. Yeah, but I don't know.
Those are in the hungry years where we had no Star Wars, but now you just got
Indeed.
Content upon content. Bad Batch, Andor, Obi-Wan. Just
the fat of the land.
The revolving door just never ends, mate. Like,
So, yeah, go, Matty.
So how did you feel? I mean, this episode 3. You heard Catherine Neen. She's very happy. She feels that this episode has Andor vibes, where we go on the mission with the space doctor. And, go to the TED Talk in Coruscant.
Am I missing something? What the fuck was the point of these scenes? Am I missing something? I'm like great. I was very Andor-esque, but I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, it was Andor if your parents say we've got Andor at home.
It was just, I just don't know the point of, am I missing what the point of him even being there is?
Well, I mean, Pershing, it's been about Pershing since, episode 1. Like, he's been there. They did nothing.
I think the shorthand version of a cow, this is what I got too, because it is a pretty long-winded episode. But Pershing was the mad scientist guy for Moff Gideon,
mm-hmm.
and they're trying to rehabilitate him, but that girl was a double agent of Moff Gideon. She's loyal to him, and she needed to get rid of him.
Could have been done in 2 scenes, I reckon.
Yeah, I didn't mind the detour, and I didn't mind seeing people without helmets. I was quite glad.
Coruscant was sick. Yeah, it looked fucking awesome.
But it had those same problems with I don't know if I've got the proper term right, but the blocking, like, you know, and the editing, I think it was still terrible. The dialogue is still really ropey. But
Space ice creams.
Yeah, but I think those 2 actors did their best with what they got given.
I just thought it was just so far off
you could halve it.
Yeah, off the track we wanted to stay on. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I love all the random Star Wars shit. I don't mind seeing it, but I'm like, put it in a fucking extra thing and I would have watched it. Yep. But I just
It's like a short film inside of an episode.
It was really odd. Weird. It was like fucking it was it had to be 3/4 of the whole episode.
And them trying for those real... This is another thing. Like, this is all written by one person at this point. Like, Favreau's the writer on all of this. Like, there's other directors. But you're trying to weigh up stuff, the really goofy shit that Mando's getting up to and the really stupid things he's doing. You got Grief Karga going like, you know, I'm high magistrate. There's this high campy stuff. And then they try this dystopian stuff, but it's written, you can tell it's written by the same person and they just can't get their tone. Like, you can change tone from episode to episode in a series, but the tone and pacing is all over the shop. It's just so uneven. And by all means, point out that this part of the story that they're, you know, bad lady Moff Gideon sympathizers got to get rid of vulnerable, crazy scientists. Yeah, sure. Tick that beat off, but just, I don't know. Just do it better.
I have this really bad, cringy feeling that they're trying to sort of not fix the sequel trilogy, but sort of connect it. And if they go there, it's going to be really disappointing with this whole Snoke cloning and Emperor cloning stuff. If they sort of go there, it's going to turn people off if they try and, connect the Rise of Skywalker to this.
Surely not.
It won't turn me off. I actually don't mind if they do that. If they want to put in some connective tissue that they wish they'd put in earlier, fuck it, do it. I don't care. Maybe you should do it. But just all I care about is how good it is. You'd be surprised what I can forgive if the dialogue and the acting is good. It's, that's where Andor had me right at the very beginning because the dialogue and the acting was good.
Yeah,
and
it was top tier.
That could have gone to some pretty far-fetched places. And I would have gone, yeah, fuck it, go there. I don't care, because it felt really high quality, and that's why I did feel like, bit of a callback to Bill Burr's performance in that episode in
The Believer.
And Din Djarin takes off his mask and stuff, and we have a really good, well-written, tense scene. It was fucking so good. That's probably been the high point of the whole thing for me. We've just had nothing like that in 4 episodes already. So to come from something like that last season, it's just, yeah.
What, the Moncal saying, and then someone yelling out, "It's a trap." You didn't dig.
Oh.
I go, come on, guys. Put any other fucking character there but a Moncal.
Whatever the thing is, surely they know with 2 really successful seasons, something that's crossed over into normies, as you call them, Matt, you don't actually have to throw that much shit in there anymore. You can just...
put a new fucking thing in there. Just be like, show us, yeah.
Yeah, just have fun and do something as best as you possibly can.
It was my worst, is my most, my least favourite episode so far.
It's funny because that seems to be a lot of the other people, in our circles, they found the first 2 pretty dull, and they loved the third one. So It's amazing.
I liked the idea of the third one. I just didn't like the execution of it. And there were some good bits. But.
There was, and I agree, there were some good bits. A lot of the start, I just hated the Doctor stuff. But
it finished good. Like we went back to the convert, and you know, they gave proof that they'd bathed in the waters in sort of Bo-Katan because she went to rescue Din. Sort of,
she accidentally not taking her helmet off.
she's atoned, and you know, even though she was a space terrorist at one stage of Death Watch, and it seems like you can commit any crime you want as long as you go for a quick dip in this water, everything's forgiven.
Oh, is that a metaphor for Christianity and sort of confession?
Possibly. Space confession.
Yeah, but it's so fucking dumb, and this is why all this cult shit just like. I don't mind them having space cults and all that sort of stuff if they're going to make a point, and maybe they will make a point. I don't think they're going to make it very well, but I'm sure they'll try. But it just seems dumb that out of all the they have this creed that you've got to follow, but apparently top of the whole creed is to do with your fucking helmet. Like, so who knows what else she's been doing? They don't ask her, have you done this? Have you done all the other stuff to the creed? No, you've just had a fresh reset, so you're
Control-Alt-Delete.
Yeah. And
new motherboard.
She gets the whole back slap from everyone. Oh, welcome to the club.
I know. At the end, I liken that to her taking 5 wickets at the MCG, and everyone's just coming over and giving her a high five.
Yeah, well, I like the fact she's in like the arc of her being in there and back to the creed. I don't mind the old. When they use "This Is the Way" in certain areas, that it sounds. It works. Some are a bit odd, but I think it's all going to play into. It has to play into a pretty epic scene when Mandalorians come together and they're all wearing a fucking helmet and they're kicking some fucking ass later on. It has to. Otherwise, it's all a bit fucking.
Hopefully
what's the point?
Time they eat some space oranges and take their helmets off and fucking talk. Then I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll move in episode 4 because we'll skip ahead to that part where everyone was about to eat some food and we got a little bit of explanation. So what do we do? How do we eat? And everyone has to fuck off to behind some bush so that they can take their helmets off and eat their food.
Take a piss and quickly fucking sort it out. That was funny.
But I mean, episode 4, it was conjecture. Frosty's favorite guy in the whole world was writing this episode and direct was Dave Filoni. We were teasing. Are we going to see Ahsoka? Are we going to get? What are we going to get?
This one. This is the
one we just had this week.
This is Mando's summer camp daycare and
it's Big Bird picking up another bird and taking care of 3 birds.
Space Condor.
And flashback, flash dance. Flashback with flash dance.
I've got it here as armor-induced PTSD.
That's good. That's one of your better ones.
Yeah, it is. No, well done.
But they did a good job because, I mean, and this was, I mean, I know I can just feel the cringe coming from, because I was watching it and the armor's got a key scene. She starts hitting the metal. And it's like, this is just like season 1.
Yeah, we all know where it's going.
And it's going, okay, I'm going to make something for you. And during this flashback, you're going to have a flashback. And then we went back to Coruscant. And that was cool. Because, I mean, this is the question that's been on everyone's lip. And thank God it's not Mace Windu, because that would just be.
How would that worked?
Well,
He's dead.
Cal, no, he doesn't, because Cal doesn't think he's dead, because you haven't seen him being scraped off the floor of the Coruscant street.
Oh God!
Cal thinks he's coming back.
A lot of things have happened.
Cal, I'll be like the
no,
bigger
I'm saying
brother.
I would enjoy if he comes back.
I'll be the big brother in The Simpsons. No, he's not coming back.
I don't know. It would just be funny to me because it would annoy so many people, but it would just see the purple lightsaber and would be funny. But when he popped up on the screen, old Armin, it was fucking epic with the old double sabes. I thought that was pretty cool. It was a sick fight scene to see lightsabers that actually looked like he was fighting properly.
But did he wield it well? I wasn't that.
I thought he did.
No, I wasn't that.
No,
enamored.
there's a nicknames I read somewhere.
The Sabred Hand.
Sabred Hand or Sabred Beast or whatever they fucking call him. And I don't know, I thought he did it well.
I was happy to see Armored, put a good performance in, and he's getting the love of Star Wars now. I mean, there's so many people get the hate and then sort of just go underwater for 20 years, and now it's nice. It was a good touch.
I'm glad they did do the Grogu, how we ended up there at some stage. Like, because if you get too much further on, it's like, when are you going to fucking figure it out?
Well, we haven't been given all of it either. I mean, Maddie's got another flashback to look for when she makes him some socks or something. Some space metal socks. We'll get the full story.
A little beanie, because they can't make a little
earmuffs
beanie where his chainmail beanie where his ears come through. Yeah.
He'll need a chainmail hairnet to pull the ears down so he can put the helmet on. But because I mean, in season 1, you got snippets of the flashback, and I feel like there's more to come.
They could leave it there. I don't mind there being a few mysteries, but I don't know. What do you think about this scene, Cow? Like,
when the Nabooian,
the whole flashback and how it played out and
whose ship is that, by the way? Is he really insinuating that's Jar Jar Binks, Senator Jar Jar Binks' ship? So they got Armored Best as a Jedi taking off in Jar Jar's ship, is what they're inferring.
Is that Jar Jar's ship? Is that what he's saying?
Well, Jar Jar was a senator in Coruscant. So, I mean,
it reminded me exactly of what would have happened in episode 1. How the scene, like, it wasn't the most crazy shot scene of him fucking driving away, looking back, and like it was pretty old school for that way. But it was, I didn't mind it. How we fought off those troopers and shit, because I actually it's a scene I wanted to see. Like, I wanted to see what happened, like how he fucking got out. That's probably the only reason I really liked it. And I saw a Nabooian ship, which I thought was pretty fucking cool. Those shiny ships, they get me, make it, I don't know, might be sparkly, but I didn't mind that scene because I actually wanted to find out the fucking reason how he got out of there.
No, I thought it was good. I just wonder where the ship's from, and it's not Padme's ship.
No, it's not.
It's not Padme's ship, but Padme knew that something was up at the temple, and to me, she would have had to have sent somebody. She would have had to send her people, or hopefully, fingers crossed, Jar Jar. But I hope it's at least somehow related to Padme, like, because it's nice to think that to me that's in line with her character. Like, send to tell her people to go help who you can. Like, go talk to.
That's not a bad link, hey? That'd be a cool.
Yeah,
link.
Go talk to. Go ring the Deputy Prime Minister Callan Beck or whatever his name is, and see if you can do anything to help him. Right, that would seem that would make sense to me, like, and be in line with everyone's character. I thought the scene was okay. I thought the special effects were a bit ropey. And it just did seem like they really wanted to hone in that it was Ahmed Best. I think, like, that whole scene, we got a lot of shots of his face.
Yeah.
Than would have normally been in a scene like that. And he has deserved his moment in the sun, but part of me just wished that it was actually Jar Jar that was helping. Honestly, because
Misa back.
Misa help you, Grogu.
That would have been,
or maybe, funny. And I know it would have been so. It would have been like an in joke on an in joke on an in joke. But if Ahmed Best had handed it off to Jar Jar, that would have been next level. Like, that would have been great. But I don't really mind, because I'm a bit like Cow. I wanted to see the scene, like, because it's, you know, we saw a little bit of that in Kenobi too, didn't we? Like
No, Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, was it? Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought isn't Reva from? Didn't she?
It's the Order 66 point of view has gone around full circle. Like you've had you know, the Revenge of the Sith edit, and now you've had you know, Bad Batch had a you've seen it there. You've seen from Reva's point of view Order 66 occur from the top level, and then in the Book of Boba Fett you sort of got Grogu getting like a 10-second flashback to that day as well. So they've really come around and they've shown Order 66 from so many different points of view now.
I don't know if we really need to see any more about him.
I was trying to say the same thing.
But it is probably one of the most defining moments of Star Wars. So,
I'm happy. Like a lot of this stuff, I'm happy with the story beats. I don't know. It could have probably been done a bit better, but
I want to see the janitor cleaning up all the dead bodies and just
mopping up robes.
Exactly. Like put that in the lightsaber bin and then the robe bin and then just.
God, it's sounding like another purge that's in real life. It's not really good, but yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, where do you think the show's going to go? Because I mean, one thing it definitely does have is it's not predictable. Like sort of, you know, the first season 1, season 2, it was very derivative and you picked a lot of it. You weren't surprised by much of it. Whereas this one, I got no fucking idea.
Well, honestly, this season reminds me of, you know, being a passenger when my grandma was driving drunk, you know, like I could tell which way she was going to swerve. So minute to minute, I know what's going to happen next. Like, you know, she's going to swerve this way, she's going to swerve that way, but I don't know what we're going to crash into.
Yeah.
So eventually, but yeah, it does feel pretty haphazard.
I think
I really think there's going to be a bigger, obviously I'm really looking forward to a big Mandalorian fight. I think if they can fucking nail that, it'll really rope me back in. Like a big Mandalorian versus probably Imperial.
Can they get there in 4 episodes though, Cal? Like realistically? Or is that next season?
Well,
is there a next season?
Is the end of this season some internal struggle to unite Mandalore?
Well,
interesting. Or is it a little bit of both?
They have to wrap it up in 4, don't they?
They don't have to wrap it up. I mean, it's
Disney,
what are the high stakes? I don't know what they're fighting for, but also Mandalore doesn't need to be united because everyone thinks it's uninhabitable, but all of a sudden it's habitable, so everyone can just sort of rock up there and then sort of assemble real quick.
What you just said about not knowing what the stakes are, I was thinking that all last episode ago. What are we actually doing?
What are we actually worried about?
Yeah. Exactly. It's so
he's a Mandal. He's been to the water now.
Exactly, and also like what's left to do on Mandalore? Everyone can sort of just move in and start building villages again. Oh shit! There's the Mythosaur. Like, who's where's Moff Gideon? Like, is he being teased that he's not in prison or something? You know, or he's pulling strings with
we've seen. Well, I took it that I took that woman was acting, you know, in his interests.
Well, she was captured
under his direct command. It seemed like she was acting in his interests. I don't know
exactly, but she would have been captured on the deck of that ship when Luke Skywalker and everything did his thing. So what's the plan? I don't know. Honestly, I just don't know what to expect. I know that the next. I mean, I saw a thing where a guy on Reddit has sort of taken everything we've seen in the trailer and what we've seen already. There's all that's left is sort of the Mandalorians potentially coming to Navarro to free them from the pirates, and then that's the only thing.
That'll annoy me.
The Mandos are going to unite to free Navarro, they reckon.
Yeah, but why?
Like, haven't we already freed Navarro?
I know, but the Moss Nass got angry and has taken out Navarro. I don't know. That's what but there is a. I remember from the trailer. There's those Nycto pirates get absolutely smashed. So it's definitely a possibility. We go back to Navarro.
Oh, that would suck.
Apparently, the next episode is 41 minutes. That's all I've got.
I really hope that I go back to Navarro. I just think we've been there. It's been great. Anyway, you fucking took 5 for me.
It's not you, Navarro. It's me.
Yeah.
Trying to move on.
It does make a little bit of sense why they fucking were there at the start. But it just seems...
If that's what they do and then they tease that Moff Gideon is back, this show's just shooting itself in the foot about being interesting at all.
Because I just don't know where they would go from that. Like, yes, great, help out Navarro, but where are you going from there? That's why I'm like, what is the end goal here? I just don't know.
It feels like they wrote 2 pretty good seasons because they didn't know how it was going to go. It feels like Luke Skywalker was definitely an end point, and now they've decided to go on indefinitely, that they've just hit the stretch button and everything is stretched and thinly written.
Yeah. Well, this podcast right now has made me quite negative on this season of Mandalorian.
No, I know. I'm like a poison.
Frosty will do that to you. But...
no, I'm still hopeful, but the angle of where they're going with it is I'm still a little bit confused.
They've got to put the monsters away. Okay, I'm sick of space monsters.
Keep the Mythosaur. I'm happy with the Mythosaur.
The Mythosaur's fine, but the monster of the week, like,
should we try to guess what we think is going to come next week?
It's going to be a space rhinoceros. Oh no, they've had space rhinoceros already.
Have we had the centipede?
Sort of.
Oh, have we?
I'd say that's probably in the crate dragon sort of era.
No, centipede might be. We've done flying bird.
We've had birds. We've had rhinoceros. We've had space whale. We've had space crocodile.
Turtle crocodile.
Space turtle.
Yeah.
There's
Turtle
not,
dial.
and then you've had the space kraken, the gorilla
turtle.
monster from Boba Fett. That was horrendous. The sand kraken.
Oh,
the fucking.
We've had Boba Fett riding the Rancor. We've got to keep reminding me of that every time we get on.
Tatooine's newest animal. That's
I've got it. Grogu's going to be riding one of those birds they saved.
Oh god!
Oh, like never-ending story.
I was like, why do you give a fuck if those birds are dead or not? Why did you need to bring them in? Anyway, that was just odd. Yeah, I've become a real fucking negative Nance on this fucking season, haven't I? I don't know.
Just hold fire, because it's got 4 episodes. They've laid some groundwork. I wouldn't say a lot. But
even I enjoy bits of it when I'm watching it, though. Like it's
100%. It's just you just feel like they could have. The angle at the moment just really throwing me off.
Like season 2, as much as the cameos were plentiful, I was gripped to the edge of my seat. This one, I'm sort of just lukewarm.
If they bring THRAWN back, I'll be fucking the biggest.
Oh yeah, put the blue guy out there, and it's best season ever.
He belongs in the Ahsoka show, though.
He will be in the Ahsoka, but we need
Show me his fucking big toe, and I'll be happy.
You gotta get the normies ready.
Just a little bit of Chiss Sideboob.
Oh my god! The episode 49, Granny's drunk at the wheel, has been replaced by Chiss Sideboob.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Like this time tomorrow, this podcast could be null and void. I might not even edited by then. So, but 41 minutes tomorrow. I don't know what to expect, and I just hope to God it's not Mandalorians on Navarro liberating from monsters.
I can guarantee you whatever it is, it's going to be fun to talk about, even if it's not that fun to watch.
I look forward to the text 24 hours from now, Frosty.
Yeah, I have been watching it on time this
I
year,
know
haven't
you
I?
are. You
Yeah.
are. You are. It's normally, it used to be like, 2:00 the next day, but I'm
Yeah.
getting texts around 11, sometimes even 9.
Yeah, I've been trying to watch it when the kids go to bed, or sometimes I've actually watched it a bit earlier.
It comes out at 6:52, just 8 minutes before 7:00, and then once we hit daylight saving, it'll be 5:52. So, Bad Batch finale comes out tomorrow too. So, just in case you.
Oh yeah, I'll just catch up on the previous 15 episodes first.
14. It's not as hard as many as you think.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'll get to bed a little bit earlier than what I thought. Then, yeah.
It's only 280 minutes. If you
Top tier stuff. Bad Batch.
it's better than you think.
I've heard it's good, and I'm sure it is good. Some of the Clone Wars was pretty good. Some of Rebels was good that I watched, but I didn't watch much. So.
Anyway, Matty, it's been a pleasure having you. I feel you've bummed Dylan, you've bummed Callan out, but I'm still a believer. I'm still happy. There's still we'll see. We'll see. In 4 weeks from now, this could be a very, very dismal place, or it could be a happy place, a blue place. We'll see. We'll see.
At the end of the day, we've still got Star Wars, so it's all right. It's not too bad.
And we've got Skeleton Crew to look forward to, and Ahsoka.
with Mos Nass and,
and the pirates.
Hey, it's always fun to talk to you guys about it. It doesn't matter whether I like it or not. I love talking to you guys about it.
Well, we love having you, buddy. So great to see you. Look forward to it, and we'll have to reconvene in 4 weeks' time.
Sounds good.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with all of us.
Good night, my little piggies.